Hey guys, Brian Hilliard here, author of the best-selling book, Networking Like a Pro, and creator of the popular program, How to Expand Your Reach, Impact More Lives, and Get Your Message Out to a Wider Audience. Now, we are celebrating our 200th podcast. And I got to tell you, I can't even believe it. I was doing a presentation about some of this earlier. It came up. And I was like, I can remember starting my podcast and being like, boy, you know what? If I could just kind of do a few of them, I might be able to get 100 podcasts. So we are coming up on episode number 200. And I've been doing a series talking about lessons learned from my 200th podcast. And one of them here today has to do with a challenge that I think comes up for a lot of people. I know it certainly was for me. You know, I came from a place where you're trying to get your message out to a wider audience. You're trying to be more successful in terms of impacting more lives and being able to help more people. But I will tell you, it can feel overwhelming. You've got all of these things going on. I know for me, I was networking, speaking, blogging, and I was just like, what is my next best step for pulling all this together? Because quite frankly, it wasn't translating into bottom line as much. It was a little bit. So let me just walk that back a little bit, but not as much as I thought it could, not as much as I wanted it to. And I was like, how is it that I can get my message out to a wider audience, impact more people in the process, and obviously get some paying clients as a result of that? And one of the lessons I've learned over the past 200 podcasts as I've been doing this is the fact that it actually wasn't as hard to do as I thought. All right. It wasn't as hard to do as I thought. You know why? The key is you have to have a plan. All right, now let me step back for a second. I'll speak for myself. Maybe this is your experience as well. For me, I was in business, right? Coaching, speaking, doing a lot of things. And I was just kind of, producing content and doing some things and going out there. Or maybe, you're coming from a different spot where you've been doing it for a little while and you want to produce more content. You just haven't been able to do it as much. Regardless, a plan is key. Brian, okay, what does a plan mean? I have a business plan, a marketing plan. What kind of plan are you talking about? All right, a plan in this case is simply an understanding of what you want to talk about and how you want to relate that to others. So let's do the first one first. What you want to talk about. So you want to take a look at where it is you are coming from. So for me, I'm coming from a place of expanding your reach, impacting more lives, getting your message out to a wider audience, okay? So you have to understand where you're coming from. Then from there, you want to talk about how it is and what it is that you're going to talk about. Right? So one of my coaches, Omid Yali, he said to me, and he suggested this, and I love this, it's called the 3-pillar approach. So what he says is, listen, get 3 things that you definitely want to talk about. So for me, it might be talking about, I actually break it down into that. I talk a little bit about mindset, I talk a little bit about tactics, and I talk a little bit about, public speaking and things like that. So 3 pillars that you want to be able to talk about, all right? And then he says, just put some bullet points of some content underneath that. So let me give you a different example. Let's say you're a life coach, okay? And let's say you are working with people to help them get more peace of mind. So what you might want to talk about in terms of your pillars might be communication in general, it might be mindset in particular, and it might be movement and physical well-being, right? So communication in terms of how you communicate. You know what? Let's actually switch out communication and let's call it clarity of thought. So mindset, clarity, and just getting out there and physically moving. Those are the 3 things as a life coach that in your opinion you might feel kind of help you get peace of mind. All right, so then if we go with that clarity point, you might talk about, how the bullet points might be how you organize things. It might be your desk. It might be how you do communicate to others. Are you clear when you're communicating to others? What's your self-talk? Are you clear to yourself? Vision boards. Do you have a mission statement for your business? Do you have a clear, consistent marketing message when you're talking to others? Okay, clarity. And each one of those points I just made could be a content piece. Now, how this comes back to you guys is that when you are getting clear on what it is that you're trying to accomplish and you understand where you're trying to go, it doesn't have to be that hard because now you've started putting a plan together of the content that you want to talk about at the global level and then the bullet points. Where people get overwhelmed is it's kind of like this smorgasbord of things and they're not really sure where to go. They're like, I need to do something, but I don't know what. Let me not do anything. Ooh, email. Right? And we've all been that. But when you get yourself a plan and you get yourself clear on how you want to be able to put that down, I would recommend buying a calendar, a content calendar that you use specifically for content. Get that baby going so that on a weekly basis, you know you're going to publish this, or you're going to get that, or you're going to, whatever the case may be. Absolutely, that will absolutely help you out. All right, so that's one of the lessons I've picked up in terms of my 200th podcast, kind of along the way. Hopefully that helps you out, and hopefully it's something that you can see yourself doing. If you would like, feel free to like, share, or comment below. I love hearing what you guys have to say. I personally respond to any comments that come up, and like I said, I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas as it relates to this particular thing, or whatever happens to come in your mind. But in the meantime, my name is Brian Hilliard, saying so long, take care, and thanks so much for your time.